Again, in continuation with the distribution, employment, we're going to do distribution of the workforce. And in this, we're going to do trends in employment pattern, sector-wise, primary, secondary, and tertiary. So just go through this and try to understand what could it be. How are we going to explain this? So we're going to talk about the type of employment generated in the Indian economy, and the following table shows the distribution of workforce by industrial sectors during 1972 to 2016, 2015-16. Okay. The above distribution of workforce by industrial sectors show that there has been a substantial shift from farm workers to non-farm workers. In 72 and 73, about 74% of workforce were engaged in primary sector, and in 2015-16 this proportion has declined to 42.7%. The share of the secondary and tertiary sectors have increased from 10.9 to 23.8% and 14.8 to 33.5% respectively. The primary sector is still the largest sector. The primary sector is still the largest sector in terms of employment. The other important sector is the tertiary sector, whose share is 33.5% in employment. The biggest hurdle in the growth of employment in India is the less share of secondary sector, that is manufacturing sector, in total employment. So we see that if you've just gone through it, you can. So if I ask you a question like, for example, which is the largest sector in terms of employment today? The primary sector. Another important sector which has really come up is what? The tertiary sector, whose share stands at 33.5%. Things like that. This is how you can get a table and people can ask you questions based on that. And now we are going to do distribution of workers by category of employment or trends in employment pattern status wise. So we're going to do, what is status? Self-employed. So this is what we're going to do now. So just go through this because we hardly have any time left. So this is how we'll go. So over the last 4 decades, there has been a considerable shift of workforce from self-employed and regular salaried employment to casual wage work. Scholars term this process of movement from self-employment and regular salaried employment to casual wage work as casualization of workforce. So in the following table, what do we see? That self-employment, although self-employment continues to be the major employment provider, but its share declines from 61.4% in 72-73 to 52 in 2011-2012. But a large part of the workers in this regard are engaged in low income creation activities. And second is the regular salaried employees. The share of the regular salaried employees in the total employment has stagnated at around 15%. This is a marginal increase. There has been a marginal increase from 15.4% in 72-73 to 18% in 2011-12. In India, the workers' condition of labor in this category are better. Job security is better, job security is greater, and the salaries are higher. So people do like to come here. Anyways, casual workers. The share of casual workers in employment has increased from 23.2% in 1972-73 to 30% in 2011-12. So casual laborers, they get lower wages. What is the reason for casualization of workers? So you've seen that the casualization is on increase. So what are the reasons for the increase in casualization of workers? You can just go through that. That is, the factors which are largely responsible for such increasing casualization of workers are that slow growth of employment in organized sector, displacement of regular workers from large industries in urban areas to the status of casual workers, then growing demand for casual labor in expanding construction, trade, and services activities both in urban and rural areas, leading towards casualization of workforce. And of course, shifting of status of small and marginal farmers, that is self-employed people in rural areas, into casual workforce due to decreasing scope of earnings from agricultural activities. So all this has led to uh, casualization of the workforce. One can get a question as to what are the reasons for casualization of the workforce. So with that, we come to an end.